We're back on the record outside the hearing and presence of the jury with counsel and Mr. Apodaca present. Good morning, everyone. We'll continue with testimony this morning. Are there any preliminary issues for the state?
Not from the state judge.
For the defense?
Nothing for defense, Your Honor.
Okay. And so we'll have order of, what is the order of witnesses for the day?
Well, we will start with the cross and redirect of Sergeant Vigil, then Kiara McCulley, and then we'll end with Dr. Wellner. Dr. Wellner, as you know, is our expert witness. We're asking that he be able to be present in the courtroom while Kiara McCulley testifies, as that may inform his opinions in the case. And he's an expert forensic psychiatrist.
Any objection?
I would object to this, Judge. I think the witness exclusion rule should apply to him. It should to all the witnesses. He should have reviewed what he needs to review for testimony. So I would ask that he be excluded.
Ms. Murphy?
The exclusionary rule does not necessarily extend to experts. In fact, it often does not. Expert witnesses are kind of set aside from lay people, sort of like case agents as well, and are expected to have more expansive knowledge and be less likely to be influenced by things they may see or hear. Additionally, given that his testimony relates directly to Kiara McCulley and Isaac Apodaca, it's within his purview as a forensic psychiatrist to consider the things that they may testify to in formulating his opinions on the case. So it's relevant and permissible.
And Judge, just to let the court, put the court on notice, I do intend to ask Dr. Wellner also about coercive interrogation tactics, as I'm going to cross-examine the detective with. So I just want to put that out there, but I don't have anything further for the court in regards to that issue.
The motion to exclude is denied. He's allowed as an expert to listen to the testimony. And then you have ample opportunity to cross with respect to any testimony or opinions he may render. Okay, we'll be in recess. We'll get the jury in here and we'll get started. Need you back up on the stand.
Yes, Your Honor.
May be seated in the courtroom. Let's go back on the record. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Attorneys and I have met. We've got a pretty full day, so we're going to get started immediately. We continue where we left off yesterday. Cross-examination, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. Right. Good morning, Detective.
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
We had a long day yesterday.
Yes.
Thanks for coming back. Detective, you advised Mr. Apodaca at the beginning of the interview that he was essentially not considered a suspect, correct?
That's correct. At that time and at that point in the interview, I had no indication that he was a suspect.
Okay. And you'd say that he had done nothing wrong, correct?
At that time, that was what I knew.
And in fact, you were even talking about Halloween plans with him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You believed him to be a suspect, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
You believed him to be a suspect as the interview progressed, or from the onset of the interview?
I didn't believe him to be a suspect until we got the consent to go through his phone, and I started seeing some of the messages that indicated that he might have had further involvement than I originally knew about.
Okay. At what point during the interview, Detective, did Mr. Apodaca's status change from non-suspect to suspect in your assessment?
I would say approximately in the second video that we watched yesterday, where we're going through his phone and we're manipulating it together, and I start to see certain aspects of the messages that are not consistent with his statement and start reflecting or indicating that he had some knowledge of what was going to happen before the homicide was committed. That's when my opinion changed.
Okay. And Detective, you told Mr. Apodaca the interview was more information gathering and just trying to have a conversation, correct?
Yeah, pretty much all police interviews are information and fact gathering. We're trying to figure out what happened.
And it would be safe to categorize this police conversation as an interrogation, correct, Detective?
No, I would classify it as an interview.
Okay, and we'll get to that in a bit. But at the time you made the statements, had you already reviewed, or that at the time that Mr. Apodaca made the statements, had you already reviewed the messages between Mr. Apodaca and Ms. McCulley discussing what they were discussing?
Can you clarify the time frame that you mean?
Towards the middle of the interview, maybe after the first break?
After the first break, I had not manipulated the phone whatsoever. It wasn't until I obtained the written consent from Mr. Apodaca and he informed me that there was no password on his phone that we opened the phone together. And those messages, as you see them played on the interview of part 2, was my very first time seeing those messages.
Okay. And you asked Mr. Apodaca to be truthful and told him you would be upfront with him, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And when you told Mr. Apodaca you didn't do anything wrong multiple times during the interview, you didn't necessarily believe that statement to be true, correct?
So if you're referring to the first portion of the interview, at the conclusion of it, when I tell him, hey, I don't feel like you did anything wrong, that was genuinely how I felt at the time. I even told him, from what I can tell, and those are the key words, from what I can tell, you have been completely honest with me. It wasn't until the second interview where we're going through the phone that that evidence showed dishonesty, in my opinion. Okay.
And when you obtained consent to search Mr. Apodaca's phone by telling him it would help him get his phone back sooner rather than later, that was somewhat of an interrogation tactic, correct?
No, not at all. So, yeah, and we can replay the interview if you'd like, sir. But I tell Mr. Apodaca, don't quote me directly, but I tell him I want to make sure you have all the information so you can make an informed decision. And I let him know with our phone, if we do end up getting a search warrant, this is the process for it. This is the timeline for it. If you give consent, this is the process here. Here's the paperwork. Take as much time as you like to review it. I would want the same thing if I were in his shoes. I would want all the information possible before I make a decision about what's going to happen with my personal property.
Okay. And you didn't tell Mr. Apodaca that obtaining a search warrant versus consent would affect or not affect whether criminal charges would be filed against him, correct?
No, I did not feel that was appropriate, and Mr. Apodaca did have a right to counsel, which was covered in the advisement of rights at the very beginning of the interview with him.
Okay. And Mr. Apodaca stated that he was scared and wanted to go to his parents' house, correct?
I'm not sure exactly what part of the interview that was in.
But he did communicate that during the interview, correct?
Maybe something like that, but I can't remember the context or exactly what was said at this time.
Okay. And Detective, when you first met Isaac on that day during what I characterize as an interrogation on October 29, 2022, you explicitly told him, I have no reason to believe you to be a suspect right now, correct?
Yes, as we covered at the beginning of the interview, the first part, before we got into the messages that showed some conflictions with the facts of the case that I'd learned to that point. At that point, I did have no reason to believe he was a suspect, but things change in the course of the interview.
And Detective, you've done many of these interviews, interrogations, conversations, whatever you want to call them, with suspects and persons of interest, correct?
Yes, I'd classify them as interviews, yes.
You have a rough idea of how many you've done?
To this point in my career or to that point in that date of the incident?
Okay, and you would consider yourself good at what you do, correct?
Yes, I would.
Okay. And generally speaking, lying is a tactic in police interrogations, correct?
Lying can be a tactic within police interrogations. In my experience, that is a risky maneuver and can be something that disrupts the trust between yourself and whoever you're speaking with within the interrogation or interview, rather. It's not something that I would commonly or frequently lean on as a practice.
Okay. Now, you reiterated to Mr. Apodaca, as far as you could tell from everyone you had talked to, he had not done anything wrong, correct?
Again, I feel like we keep saying the same question over and over again, but at the time of the first interview, I did not believe he had done anything wrong. It wasn't until the second interview where we came across the messages where my opinion changed.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at is you communicated to him and you made it known to him that he did not do anything wrong, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Sustained.
Okay, I'll move on. You observed firsthand that Isaac was kind of freaking out, for lack of a better phrase, and visibly scared?
At what point, sir?
I mean, throughout the interview, but it's only as the interview was progressing.
Can you clarify what you mean by freaking out?
That he was kind of panicking, he was a little anxious, he was nervous.
I would agree that he was anxious and nervous, which is a common behavior by people being interviewed. They can sometimes be nervous about what's happening. I would imagine especially so if they have any guilt on their conscience at all. But as far as any anxiety, I would say no. I think at one point in the interview, I even offered Mr. Apodaca an ambulance or medical care if he ever felt like he needed it, which he never requested.
Okay. And without going into anything that Ms. McCulley had stated in her interview, Kiara McCulley, their interviews were a stark contrast as far as demeanor is concerned, correct? Isaac's and Kiara's? Safe to say that Kiara was pretty even-keeled, not as anxious or concerned as Mr. Apodaca appeared to be?
I would not say that. I would say they both had their own separate demeanors that were unique in their own ways.
Okay. Now, Isaac agreed to do the interview, correct?
Yes, he did.
Isaac spoke to you, obviously, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Eventually, throughout the interview, Isaac denied hurting Kiara, correct? Or hurting Grace, correct?
Yes, throughout the entirety of the interview, from what I can recollect and from watching the video yesterday, at no point did Isaac ever say that he directly harmed the victim, Grace.
Okay. And Isaac remained cooperative throughout the investigation?
Define cooperative, sir.
I mean, he didn't ask the lawyer up. He basically answered all of your questions.
He did not request an attorney. He did answer all my questions. Now, he did not answer all the questions truthfully, which can be a form of
So if we can
not
just,
being cooperative.
so Detective, if we can just limit it to what, my question is, Isaac didn't refuse any questioning, correct? Yes or no?
He did not refuse any questioning.
Okay.
No.
On the second part of the interview he did with you, essentially cooperated throughout, I don't know, about the hour and a half, 40 minutes of that interview, correct?
Until the point where he was lying about the messages, then he was uncooperative.
So, Detective, what I'm trying to ask is, he did not refuse to answer questions, and he never got confrontational during the questioning, correct?
Yes, if that's the question, he answered all questions and did not become confrontational.
Okay, and Detective, are you familiar with the Reed technique of interrogation?
No, I'm not. I'm familiar with it, but I have not gotten any formal training in the Reed technique.
Okay. Do you understand that that is a technique that is used by detectives around the country in regards to police conversations, interrogations, discussions, different things with suspects and persons of interest?
If it's a talk technique, then I imagine it is used within law enforcement, but it's not a technique that I've been trained in, no.
Okay. And detective, false confessions often occur though, correct? Based on
Objection, Your Honor. 702. May we approach?
Come on up.
Detective, when you're doing interrogations, is minimization a tactic that's used?
Can you define what you mean by minimization?
Minimizing what the seriousness of the offense, or maybe just discussing different things like how he's excited about Halloween and different things. Are you trying to somewhat loosen up the atmosphere for lack of a better term?
The discussion about Halloween was just conversation before the interview, and somewhat building rapport is prior to the start of the interview.
Okay. And implied promises, is that another tactic that could be used in interrogations?
Are you referring to in general or in this case?
In general and in this case.
I cannot and will not speak to in general what may or may not be used. I'm not a subject matter expert in interviews. I only have experience in training. In this particular case, I cannot recall making any promises and breaking them.
Okay. You did state you'll be going home.
Can you refer to what part of the video I promised the defendant that he'd be going home?
Early on in the video?
I don't recall making a promise that he would go home.
But when you were discussing Halloween and different things, it sounded like once he talks about what's going on, he'll be free to leave.
That wasn't my intention with talking about Halloween, implying that he'd be free to leave.
Okay.
We were just talking.
Certainty of guilt, is that a tactic that was used in this interrogation, Detective?
I don't know what that is, sir.
Okay, I'm not an idiot, Isaac. What happened? I mean, basically, you're saying he's pretty much guilty and that he would have to accept that narrative.
I would consider that cross-referencing things that I had seen on the phone, evidence I'd seen on the phone, and crossing that with statements he had made and how they don't make sense, and me trying to gather a statement that was consistent with the evidence that I had seen.
So basically, Detective, as the interview progressed, you wanted Isaac to confess to killing Grace.
I wanted the truth, and I said that multiple times in the interview. I wanted the truth from him.
Okay. And Isaac finished off the interview by saying, I didn't want it to happen to Grace.
I don't recall what the exact last statement was from Isaac in the interview.
Okay. Now, you took very few breaks during the entire interview, correct, Detective?
We took a total of 3 breaks during the course of approximately 2.5 hours, sir.
How long was each break?
Each break was approximately 5 to 10 minutes, I'd say.
Okay. And during the breaks, was the defendant permitted to leave the interrogation room?
Prior to starting the interview at the very beginning, the defendant was asked if he needed water or the restroom. In between each of the breaks, I don't recall if we ever asked the defendant if he needed the restroom or water. Had he ever asked for it, he would have absolutely gotten a restroom or water break, but I don't recall him ever requesting or asking for anything.
Okay. And was the defendant alone during the breaks?
Yes.
Okay. And at no point did the defendant ask to stop the interrogation, correct?
No.
In fact, you had said that you needed a bathroom break in between, correct?
I did not say bathroom break, but after our first approximately hour's worth of interview, I said that I would like a break, and that break was mostly to prepare the consent to waive phone record. I wanted to pre-fill that out and have that ready to review with the defendant.
Okay, and you don't know if the defendant had adequately slept or was rested or had any sleep prior to the interrogation, correct?
It was approximately 3:30 p.m. when the investigation began. A reasonable person sleeps during the nighttime hours.
So let's just limit it to my question without speculating. You don't know if the defendant slept prior to the interrogation?
I did not know what his patterns were before the interrogation.
Okay, and a better question may be whether he was sleep deprived.
I don't know if he was sleep deprived before the interview, no.
I mean, people work different hours, people have different hours of sleep, it's very plausible that he had not slept in quite some time.
Your Honor,
anything-
that calls for speculation.
I'll move on, Judge.
Sustained.
Okay. Describe the interrogation room, Detective.
The interview room is, it's, I would classify it as somewhat of a smaller room. Rough dimensions, maybe approximately 8 foot by 8 foot, 12 foot by 12 foot, somewhere in that area. There is a table in the middle of it, a chair on one side, typically where the person being interviewed seats, and the person being interviewed can be a suspect, a witness, anyone. On the other side of the table is typically the case agent or whoever is conducting the interview, and then there might be an extra chair or two within that room in case, depending on the circumstance, there's other people that are going to be present during the interview. Aside from that, the interview room is pretty plain. I don't recall if there's any like art or paintings or anything hung up in there. But aside from that, the interview room is monitored and recorded with both recording and video equipment.
How many exits were there in the room, Detective?
And there's one point of entry and one point of exit.
Okay. And repeat the dimensions again, Detective?
Approximately, and I'm not in construction or anything like that, but approximately maybe somewhere between 8 feet by 8 feet or 12 feet by 12 feet. Maybe a little smaller, maybe a little bigger. I don't know for sure, sir.
Okay. And was the defendant told that the door was locked at any point?
I don't believe he was ever advised if the door was locked.
Okay. Now, can you describe your position relative to the defendant?
During the interview, sir?
Yeah.
Across from the defendant, as seen in the video?
Yes, Detective.
Yeah, I was seated across the table from the defendant.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Did the defendant ask for food or water?
Not that I can recall. Did he ever request food or water?
Was food or water provided?
No, just the initial water break before the interview began at around 3:30 p.m.
Okay. And were you standing over the defendant at any point?
No.
Okay. You remember what the temperature was in the room, generally?
A comfortable temperature, somewhat similar to this.
Okay. Now, you suggested to Isaac that talking would help him, correct?
I don't remember the exact language I used, but something along the lines of being truthful would be best.
Okay. And again, in that situation, I understand minimizing could be a term of art and all that, minimizing the scenario and all that, but just from your basic understanding of what minimizing a situation is, you are trying to minimize the seriousness of the situation, correct?
No.
By trying to build rapport, small talk, isn't that just making him feel more comfortable and trying to minimize the seriousness of why he's there?
Making him feel more comfortable is different than minimizing the situation. Someone died that day. That's a very serious thing to me.
Okay. Detective, on the side, who trained you on these interrogation, interview, conversation methods?
I've received various perspectives and trainings on interviews, both from on-the-job training, from watching other detectives train or conduct interviews. I attended a peace interview course in 2022 prior to this incident. And then at both of the basic and advanced homicide investigation courses that I attended, they cover topics of interview training.
And you stated you were in the Air Force?
No, in the United States Marine
Or
Corps.
the Marine Corps, excuse me. Yeah, and then thank you for your service. And in the Marine Corps,
Thank you.
you were certainly trained extensively. Were you trained in interrogation tactics or any of that?
No, I was never trained in interrogation tactics. I was a military police officer, so we received interview training in there as well.
Interview training.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Detective. Now, you told the defendant that or kind of asked him if he feels better, or if he would feel better by letting loose and telling you essentially what you wanted to hear, correct?
No, not what I wanted to hear. I wanted the truth.
Okay. Do you know if the defendant took any medication during or prior to the interrogation, Detective?
No, I don't know about medication.
Okay. And did you inquire into any potential medical conditions that he may have?
No, not that I can recall now.
Okay, so you're not aware of any medications that he may have taken regularly, correct?
No, the only questions I asked him pertained to alcohol and drug use during the incident, or if there was any evidence of that at the scene. But I did not ask about any medication or medical diagnoses.
Okay, now you sure that the defendant actually understood your questions?
I felt like he understood my questions, yes.
Okay, but he did appear to be a little bit anxious?
Anxious and nervous, yes.
Okay. You're not trained to recognize psychological distress, are you?
Define psychological distress, and in what context?
Well, I'm asking the question, Detective. So, psychological distress is what it is. I mean, essentially, did he seem to be under any sort of mental distress, any sort of anxiousness, anything that you believe that could be problematic to getting a
Objection,
proper
Your
answer out
Honor.
of it?
One, compound, getting into outside the scope of this witness's expertise and testifying throughout the duration of his question.
I'm clarifying his question to me.
You can finish your question.
Okay.
Objections overruled.
Thank you, Judge.
Can you repeat the question? I got lost there.
Okay. So are you trained to recognize psychological distress?
No.
Okay. Did you document the defendant's emotional state at all? Yes or no, Detective?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. You didn't inquire as to the defendant's educational background or whether he had difficulty reading, did you, Detective? Yes or no?
No, not that I remember.
Okay. And you do understand that age, experience, education, background, and intelligence are relevant factors when dealing with waivers of rights and things of that sort, correct, Detective?
Yes.
Okay. Now, after the defendant made his statements, you pretty much ended the interview, correct?
Are you referring to the conclusion of the third video when we were done with the interview? Was the
I mean,
interview?
as soon as he made the statement that you wanted him to in regard to what you believed was incriminating, you pretty much ended the interview, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, may we approach?
Come on up.
Now, Detective, during the interrogation, you told Isaac, dude, I'm not dumb when you were pressuring him to change his account, correct?
Can you say the question again, sir?
You told Isaac, dude, and I'm not dumb, right?
Yes, I believe that was said by me at some point during the interview, yes.
So you're basically, that was a tactic to pressure him to change his account, correct?
No, not at all. That was me looking at the,
Yes or no? Are you saying no?
can you rephrase the question to see if it's a yes or no question?
Well, that's what I said. I said you were pressuring him to change his account, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Mr. Apodaca stated he wanted a peaceful resolve.
He did state that.
You didn't explore what actions he took to achieve a peaceful outcome, did you, Detective? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. When you never investigated agreements that Mr. Apodaca could have made to remove Grace from danger, yes or no?
Can you rephrase the question? Or can you say the question again?
Okay. You never further investigated any attempts Mr. Apodaca made to remove Grace from danger, correct? Yes or no?
That's false.
No, you did not.
I did do, your phrasing of your question is confusing me. I'm disputing what you're asking.
Okay, so you're saying no.
Can you say the question again?
Okay. You did not further investigate anything that Mr. Apodaca may have done to remove Grace from danger.
Yes, I did.
Okay. But you basically formed a narrative during that interview that you wanted Mr. Apodaca to agree to, correct?
No, I did not.
Okay. You told Mr. Apodaca, it's over, Isaac. It's over. You need to own it. You were trying to obtain a confession at that point, were you not, Detective?
Your
No,
Honor, objection as to form and badgering.
Not badgering him at all. I mean, asking a
Ask
question.
the question again.
Okay. You told Mr. Apodaca, it's over, Isaac, it's over, and you need to own it. You were trying to obtain a confession, were you not, Detective?
No.
Okay. Not trying to be overly dramatic, but maybe I was. Okay. You created a narrative, again, before you started interviewing Mr. Apodaca, correct?
No, I did not.
Okay. Now, false evidence can often be presented to ascertain a narrative, correct?
It can, hypothetically.
So essentially, lying can be a tactic in interrogations or interviews?
Are you asking me to speculate?
I mean, in your training and experience, Detective?
Generally speaking, anything is possible, yes.
Okay. And eventually, you basically got Isaac to agree with stuff you were just telling him, correct?
No.
You agree that Isaac was kind of a people pleaser?
I don't agree.
Your Honor.
Counsel approach.
Okay, Detective, I mean, you can answer that as a yes or no question. Your observation that Isaac come across as a people pleaser?
No,
Was he kind of trying to become your friend almost in that interview?
no,
Okay. You did tell Mr. Apodaca that things would be a lot better for you moving on if you just come out and you cooperate, correct?
yes, I did state that.
Okay. Mr. Apodaca repeatedly said, I mean, he did say he was scared and he was shooken up, correct?
I don't recall the exact verbiage he used.
Hear that? And then you didn't consider that his mental state might affect the reliability of his statements?
Can you say the question again?
You never considered whether his mental state might affect the reliability of his statements, yes or no?
No.
Okay. You acknowledged that you stated that Mr. Apodaca made a mistake. You were essentially presenting a narrative that you wanted him to agree to at that point, correct, Detective?
No, not correct.
Okay. You told Mr. Apodaca he was going to jail that night, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you had not completed your investigation before making that assertion, correct?
No, the investigation carried on for several years.
Okay. And you had not interviewed Kiara McCulley by that time, correct, when you made that statement?
No, I had not.
Okay. Now, you've been sitting through this entire trial, right? You've been observing the witnesses, testifying, everything that's going on. There's absolutely no physical evidence linking Isaac Apodaca to the killing of Grace Jennings, correct?
No.
Objection, Your Honor.
You answered the question.
The answer stands.
Thank you.
Objections overruled.
Based on your investigation and everything you've observed in trial this week and last week, and throughout your investigation, you have no evidence that Mr. Apodaca was even present in the garage when Grace Jennings was killed, correct?
Your Honor.
Approach.
So Detective, based on testimony in the trial so far that you've sat through, there's been no evidence presented that Mr. Apodaca was in fact present in the garage when Ms. Jennings was killed, correct? Yes or no, Detective?
Up to this point, no.
Okay. And
Can I re-clarify the question you asked before that? I feel like you misinterpreted my answer.
no, you can't.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it's not how it works.
No worries.
Nothing personal. All right. Now, Isaac did disclose to you that he has severe pre-existing personal trauma regarding violent deaths from,
Yes, he did mention something like that.
okay. And he told you that he previously witnessed his friends essentially brains being blown out right in front of him while sitting in a car, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And he explained that an event like that essentially left him super traumatized, correct?
Yes, he stated that.
Okay. Now you would agree that, panic attack and passing out in a police car are consistent with a severe trauma response, correct?
To clarify, generally speaking, would I agree?
Yes.
Yeah, generally speaking, that could be an indication, sure.
Okay. And that could be consistent with severe trauma instead of a consciousness of guilt, correct?
Can you say the question again?
I mean, a panic attack and passing out in a police car are consistent with a severe trauma response and not a consciousness of guilt of any sort, correct?
I would need more context to answer the question.
Okay. Basically, Detective, he could have an adverse reaction to severe trauma that can affect his ability to properly communicate with you, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, 702.
Counsel approach.
That the night before the incident, Kiara was acting highly volatile and violent towards him, correct?
I don't remember the exact language that he used. No.
Okay. Now, you stated also that Kiara was bringing up past instances involving other women out of jealousy, correct?
Yes, correct. I remember that.
Okay. Isaac described Kiara actively threatening him with multiple weapons, correct?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and that would include a butterfly knife, correct?
Yes, correct.
A dagger,
Yes.
a sword.
Yes, I believe he said she was swinging around a sword.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. And yeah, and in regards to swinging a sword, he told you that Kiara swung a sword at him and actually nicked him in the arm, correct?
I don't remember if he said she nicked him in the arm. I do remember the part of him allegedly saying she was swinging around a sword.
Okay, and he told you that Kiara dragged a dagger across his face to see if he was scared, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and Isaac explicitly identified that all three of these weapons, the butterfly knife, the sword, and the dagger, belonged to Kiara, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Maybe approach real quick, Your Honor?
Come on up.
Detective Isaac also provided information about a past violent incident in 2017 involving Kiara and the victim, Grace, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Okay, and Isaac told you that throughout the early morning hours, from I think it was roughly 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., Kiara was repeatedly poking something sharp into his lower back.
Yes, he did.
Okay. And he estimated that she poked him about 15 times, correct?
I don't remember the quantity.
Okay. And then he said in a kind of a very sad and upset tone of voice, he kind of stated that he had begged her to stop because it was hurting him, correct?
I don't remember the tone of voice, but I do believe he mentioned that he asked her to stop.
Okay. And he even offered, I mean, he even showed you his back during the interview because it was incredibly sore, correct?
He did show me his back, yes.
Okay. Isaac has explained that Kiara had ordered him and Grace to leave the property at approximately 8:30 a.m., correct, Detective?
Approximately, yes.
Okay. He explained that the delay in leaving was because he was packing his belongings, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And that he was trying to secure a ride from his mother, correct?
Correct.
In the residence, or the detached garage, the abode, whatever you want to call it, that day, there were packed bags, correct? Suitcases or luggage, essentially bags that were packed up with clothes?
Not that I'm aware of.
That's concerning, Detective. So did you go through everything?
Objection, Your Honor. Commentary.
Restate your question.
We'll do that. You did not go through everything in that residence, correct? After the crime?
I did not process the scene, no.
Okay. Your agents did not go through everything.
That'd be a better question for them.
You're the case agent, Detective, are you not?
I am a case agent.
Okay. So you oversee what your agents do as part of their investigation, correct?
Correct, within reason.
Okay. That's why you're allowed to sit here throughout the entire trial and witness everyone's testimony, correct?
What's your question?
Question is, did your investigation, the investigation that you managed, did you go through everything in that residence?
Everything of evidentiary value, yes.
How do you know what is of evidentiary value and what is not, Detective?
Based off the information that we have at the time, we are able to obtain search warrants and collect things that we know to be evidence. We cannot collect things that we do not know are evidence and come to light later on.
Okay. Safe to say that that residence is a pretty big mess, right?
Your Honor, can defense just clarify whether, when they're saying residence, do they
The
mean
detached garage.
or the garage?
The detached garage.
Can you repeat the question, sir?
It's safe to say that that detached garage was a pretty big mess, correct?
Yes, it was in a state of a mess.
Okay. At that point, when you enter a crime scene, or when you're conducting an investigation and you enter a crime scene, you don't know what is of evidentiary value and what is not of evidentiary value, correct, Detective?
No, that's not correct.
So just by walking in, you can observe, oh, that's of evidentiary value, that's not of evidentiary value. How do you know what's packed in a bag and what's not?
Well, based on the information, the facts you have at the time, you obtain your search warrant. So some things are of obvious evidentiary value. For example, the bloody sword, things like that.
Okay, so what's in plain sight, for lack of, it sounds like a term of art, but for lack of a better phrase, you are just basing your observations or what you believe is evidentiary value based on your general plain sight observations of the detached garage.
No, it's not just that. It's a multitude of things.
Okay, but shouldn't you be going through everything in that residence when you're investigating a crime scene where it appears that somebody has been stabbed to death multiple times?
Yes,
Okay, and that was not done here, correct?
that's not correct. The scene was processed and everything was gone through, to my understanding.
But you're saying you don't know about Isaac's luggage that was packed up there in the residence?
I don't know about that. I don't have first knowledge of that.
Okay. Isaac had also stated that when Kiara immediately, or when Isaac returned, Kiara immediately smiled and stated, "I did it," correct?
Yes, he did state that.
Okay. Now, Mr. Apodaca stated that he had used the restroom for approximately 30 seconds, possibly?
Yes, he's very
Okay.
specific on the time.
Okay, he may not have remembered how much time had lapsed, correct, during the pretty traumatic situation?
Can you say the question again?
You know, if you remember, or actually, let me move on to the next one. You told Mr. Apodaca that you don't think that this happened in 30 seconds to 2 minutes, correct?
Correct, I did tell him that.
Okay. And you were referring to the injuries that you observed at the scene, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you've been listening again to the testimony here at trial, and you heard the testimony of the OMI, correct?
Yes, I did.
The OMI witness, and said it likely took about, should have happened in about 2 minutes, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So was this again a tactic to try to elicit information or to trip Isaac up when you were interviewing him, as you would characterize it?
No, it
Or
was not a
interrogating,
tactic.
as I would? Okay. Basically, you told him that I don't think that it happened in 30 seconds to 2 minutes.
I did tell him that, yes.
Okay. And you didn't conduct any independent forensic analysis to determine the actual duration of the attack, correct?
But personally, myself, no.
No, okay. In fact, you did not have the blood that was discovered, or your team did not have the blood that was discovered on the door to the house tested for DNA, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. You didn't, and again, there was a lot of stuff all over the place in the house and the garage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you just basically didn't think it would be important to search everything.
No, I would not say that.
But you did not search, or your team did not search everything, correct?
Can you clarify what you mean by search everything?
Go through every bit of potential evidence that is in that detached garage or in the house.
My understanding, sir, is a search warrant was obtained to search for a specific set of items, and the entire area that was to be searched for, outlined in the search warrant, the entire area was searched for all those items of evidence, and all those items of evidence were obtained.
Okay. And Isaac had told you his mom was going to pick him up, correct?
Yes.
After he had packed his bags? Detective, Mr. Apodaca told you that some of the messages were not sent by him, but by Ms. McCulley using his account from a second phone, correct?
Yes, he did say that.
Okay. You didn't examine, or you did not extract anything from the second phone that you seized, correct?
There was no extraction report created on that phone.
Okay, but you did locate that second phone, correct?
Yes, the phone was located and extraction was attempted, but there was no data on that phone.
So you basically didn't do an extraction on that phone?
No, if you heard what I said, an extraction was done on that phone. There was no data recovered during the extraction of that
Okay,
phone.
and that is a product of the extraction report, or was a proper extraction done on that phone?
From what I was told from the individual that conducted the extraction was that there was no data on the phone because
Without
of
going into what other people are saying or whatever, you did not ascertain anything from that extraction, correct?
nothing was recovered from that extraction of that phone.
Okay. And you didn't take any steps to verify whether the messages were actually sent by Mr. Apodaca or by somebody else, correct?
Can you state the question again?
You didn't take any steps to verify whether the messages that you were investigating at that point were actually sent by Mr. Apodaca or whether it was sent by somebody else?
No, it's false. I did take steps.
Okay. But at that point, you basically confronted Isaac and said that he sent those messages, correct?
What point are you referring to?
During the interrogation or interview, towards the end of it.
Can you say the question again?
I mean, you basically, and detective, I mean, I'm not sure if you're not properly understanding what I'm trying to ask, but I mean, I'm asking you the questions and you keep asking me questions back. I don't know if that's a tactic.
Objection, Your Honor.
Come on up.
So, Detective, during your review of you reviewed the Facebook messages, correct?
Yes, I did review the Facebook
Okay.
messages.
And you saw that Kiara McCulley was trying to provoke an aggressive reaction from Mr. Apodaca, correct?
I would have to know at what point in time you're referring to during the messages.
Well, she made a statement, bring out your Hulk side, correct?
Correct. She did make that statement.
Okay. She told him, feel the anger from that night, use it on her, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And Mr. Apodaca also complains about physical distress throughout the string of messages, correct?
Again, I'd have to know exactly what messages you're referring to, what context, and at what point.
Okay. Now, let's go into the situation after the fact when Mr. Apodaca returned to the garage after using the restroom. He found the victim already deceased, Ms. Jennings, correct?
According to his statement.
Okay.
Yes.
And Mr. Apodaca went to a nearby commercial business, AP Wireless, correct?
Correct.
Okay. He contacted his mother to ensure law enforcement was dispatched to the scene, correct?
He contacted his mother, yes.
Okay. And he voluntarily waited at AP Wireless for your officers to arrive, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And the moment you asked for access to his phone to understand what had happened, he signed a complete electronic consent waiver without hesitation, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. second. And Detective, just to reiterate, Isaac had no blood on him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. He had no cuts on his hands?
Not that I can remember.
Okay. And he had no blood on his clothes, correct?
No.
Okay. And the defendant was always free to end the interview and just walk out, correct?
Not at the entire, not for the entire time of the interview, no.
But towards the beginning, he didn't have to be there. He could have just left,
That's correct.
and he stuck around,
Yes.
and he was cooperative. He answered all your questions, yes or no, Detective?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Thank you.
Redirect.
We approach.
Come on up.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning.
Okay. So I want to start by talking about the messages. You were asked on cross about whether or not you took steps to verify that the messages were sent by Mr. Apodaca. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so prior to receiving permission to open Isaac's phone and reviewing those messages with him, did you know what those messages were going to be?
No, I had no idea.
Okay. And when you reviewed those messages with Isaac, I'm not going to ask you to reiterate which portions it's on the video, but did he acknowledge or deny that some of the messages were him?
Yes, he acknowledged that some of the beginning messages were him, and then there was a period of time where he outlines a select series of messages were not him, that allegedly Kiara was using another phone within the garage to message herself. And then when we go back higher up in the timeline of the messages, he does state in the interview that those messages are him sending them. Furthermore, when we examined his phone in the Cellbrite report.
We'll get to the phone examination. Let's just stick with the
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We'll just stick with the interview for now. After denying that some of those messages were his, did that statement change later in your interview?
Yes, it did.
Okay, and can you explain that?
Later on in the interview, I asked him again if he sent those messages and if he meant what they said, and he agreed.
Going then after your interview with Mr. Apodaca, what did you do what, if anything, did you do to cross-corroborate that Isaac Apodaca's phone was utilized to send those messages?
Yeah, so after I filed the search warrants for Facebook returns, cell phone data, and received all those reports that we have already displayed here, I did notice, especially in some of those messages that he had referenced was allegedly Kiara messaging Kiara, that the time difference between them was sometimes a second between each one. The messages were sent back and forth very quickly, which indicated to me from an investigative standpoint that it was not Kiara messaging Kiara.
And speaking of the Facebook warrant returns, you mentioned that you executed Facebook warrants for both Kiara's account and Isaac's account. Is that correct? Or for the null void account?
Correct.
Okay. And when you had the Celebrite extraction done, what were you able to observe in the Celebrite extraction as it relates to the use of the Facebook Messenger app off of Isaac's phone?
I'm sorry, it was slipping my mind for a minute, but the IP addresses for the phones indicated that the phones or the users that were using them was Kiara and Isaac.
And then referencing State's Exhibit 88 here in my hand, it's been previously admitted as the log entries for the use of the Facebook Messenger app. When you reviewed this, what did you see in this log entries of the use of the Facebook Messenger app from Isaac Apodaca's extraction?
Can I reference the document?
Sure, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes, please.
Can I approach?
Yes.
I'll ask you to review it. I'll take it back and then I will re-ask my question.
Thank you.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Yes, it did.
So having reviewed State's Exhibit 88, the log entries from the extraction of Isaac Apodaca's phone, based on the Celebrite extraction that you obtained, what did you observe as it relates to the use of the Facebook Messenger app during the relevant time period, October 28th to October 29th, on Isaac Apodaca's cell phone?
The Facebook record indicates that he sent a series of messages throughout the night, and then it shows and is collaborated with the Celebrite report that he uses the Facebook call feature to contact his mother, and then calls his mother through the actual line to her actual line.
You were asked on cross about, there was a reference to the defendant passing out in the back of a police car. In the course of your investigation, did you determine whether Isaac Apodaca had passed out in the course of, in the back of a police car?
No, I never was told anything about that, nor do I have any knowledge of that. When you were asked about Isaac's demeanor and mental state during his interview, and at one point, Isaac Apodaca did appear to cry. Is that fair? Yes.
Okay. During your second interview, the portion where you reviewed the text messages with him, did Isaac Apodaca cry during that portion?
No, his demeanor, no.
Okay. What was his demeanor during that portion, the second portion of the interview, and the third portion?
Calm. He didn't seem to have anxiety during that portion of the interview when I was asking those questions.
Okay. At any point, did you in fact lie to Isaac Apodaca?
No.
In conducting your interview with Isaac Apodaca, what was your goal?
My goal is to find the truth, to find out what happened in that garage. And I stated that several times throughout the interview. I wanted as much information as possible, as much truthful information as possible about what happened to Miss Grace Jennings.
Did the discovery of those, what, if any, impact did the discovery of those text messages have on your investigation? Or, I'm sorry, I keep saying text messages. The Facebook Messenger messages and text messages. What, if any, impact did those have on the investigation?
Well, in the short term, in the scope of the interview, it altered Mr. Apodaca from being potentially just a witness to a suspect, resulted in us charging him that day. And it gave me some more insight when I proceeded into my investigation with Ms. Kiara McCulley.
Thank you. A moment, Your Honor.
Yes,
Nothing further, Your Honor. We'll reserve this witness out of abundance of caution.
okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take our morning break at this time. About 15 minutes, we'll reconvene at 10:30. If you'd go with the bailiff, please.
All rise.
You may step down. Our next witness,
Our next witness is going to be Kiara McCulley, Your Honor. We'd ask that she be brought up and placed to the stand outside the presence of the jury.
we'll do that, okay.
And we just want to make sure that during any shifts of transport, that she and Isaac Apodaca are not in the same room and are not held in the back or anything together.
Right. So I'll let them know I spoke to the corporal yesterday. We're going to have a second deputy up here. We're going to move a chair up here. The bailiff will be in the far corner. And then whoever is with Mr. Apodaca will be where they've been sitting up here.
Yes.
Okay, we'll bring Ms. McCulley in first, put her on the witness stand, and then bring Mr. Apodaca in. And yeah, don't put them in the same holding cell up here together. Let's do that in reverse order. Let's bring him back in first, and then we'll bring her in after everybody else is back in the courtroom.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay,